How many NBA players are more famous than Caitlin Clark? LeBron, Steph, absolutely.
Maybe Durant.
That's what I wrote down. KD, maybe. Outside of LeBron and Steph, she is the most well-known basketball player currently playing in the United States.
Yes. And I don't think that's close. I think I might have said this to you last year, that I thought the most famous basketball player under 30 was Caitlin Clark. I don't think it's particularly close. She is demonstrably and inarguably more famous than all of this generation's NBA stars.
Caitlin Clark exploded for 25 points in the opening half, staying locked in from the start. Smooth finger roll, then a quick catch-and-fire triple. Clark knocked down 7 shots from deep, fueling a massive 19-0 run that powered her team to a 102-88 victory, giving New York its first loss of the year. She finished with 32 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, and 2 blocks, a stat line achieved only 3 times in WNBA history. Caitlin Clark has officially announced a return.
I'm surprised Nick Wright was allowed to say that. But anyway, they're absolutely correct. We're not talking about skill level. We're not talking about any of that stuff. But there is no player in American team professional sports that has the importance of Caitlin Clark to the WNBA. Think about it.
What unfolded was one of the most shocking moments the sports world has seen all season. Caitlin Clark is officially back, and she returned with a performance that left everyone stunned. But instead of the league simply applauding her comeback, what followed caught fans completely off guard. After guiding the Indiana Fever to a statement win over the previously unbeaten New York Liberty, Clark was reportedly subjected to yet another drug test, her 11th of the season. Yes, 11. In 1 year. This isn't exaggeration, sarcasm, or rumor. It's the reality facing one of professional basketball's biggest stars. And fans aren't just confused, they're outraged. To understand why emotions are boiling over, let's rewind. While Clark was sidelined for 5 games with a quad injury, the Fever struggled to find their footing, clearly missing their leader on the floor.
Undeniable exists for a reason, and it applies to Caitlin Clark. She is just absolutely undeniable, and her return to the Indiana Fever showed it once again. It felt like a jolt of energy to the WNBA, obviously to the Indiana Fever, who looked like a completely different team, as Caitlin Clark put on a show that only she can in leading the team to a win over the New York Liberty, the first L for the Liberty on the season. Clark made those passes that are just gorgeous dimes. She hit the logo bombs, 3 of them in 38 seconds. The kind of things that just make you make incomprehensible noises, like, ah! Like, you can't control it when you're watching it because she's so exciting. She's the most exciting basketball player on the planet. She got help. Aaliyah Boston with big rebounds. Kelsey Mitchell was clutch late. Lexi Hull was everywhere. Sydney Colson even stepped up. But Caitlin Clark stepping back on the floor made all the difference in the world.
The offense had stalled, the intensity was missing, and the group simply didn't look like itself. But the moment Caitlin Clark stepped back onto the floor, everything shifted. It felt like a light switch was flipped. She burst into the game red hot, drilling deep 3 balls, controlling the tempo with confidence, and steering her team to a shocking win over the New York Liberty, who were unbeaten at the time. This wasn't just a solid outing, she was dominant. Clark poured in 32 points, buried several shots from far beyond the arc, set up her teammates with precision, and reminded everyone exactly why she's widely viewed as the next face of the sport. This was more than a comeback, it was a message. It was the kind of moment that shapes an entire season, the type of performance that should dominate headlines for all the right reasons. But what followed shifted the narrative almost instantly. Not long after the final buzzer, reports surfaced that Caitlin Clark had been required to take yet another drug test, bringing her season total to 11. That number is staggering, nearly 4 times higher than what most players experience. Around the league, WNBA athletes are typically tested about 3 times during the regular season, with maybe 1 additional check in the offseason. Clark has faced 11, with the latest coming just moments after one of the most electrifying games of the year. The response online was immediate. Fans, analysts, and even casual observers were left stunned, struggling to understand how this could happen. The fact that the league's most recognizable star is being tested this frequently, especially immediately after her biggest performances, set off serious alarm bells. Fans started asking tough questions. Is this truly standard procedure, or is something else at play? Some began to wonder whether the WNBA is intentionally or not putting its most marketable player under a microscope. And even if there's no agenda, the situation points to, at best, a breakdown in judgment. Look at the message it sends. A young athlete grinds through rehab, returns from injury, delivers a once-in-a-generation performance, and is met not with celebration, but with doubt. That's more than a bad optic. It signals a leadership failure, and it's why so many people are angry. What Clark did against the Liberty wasn't an outlier. It's who she's always been. From her college days to the professional level, Caitlin Clark has built her reputation on deep-range shooting, command of the game, and raising the level of everyone around her. Anyone who's followed her journey knows that performance was vintage Clark, just under brighter lights. And yet, someone at the league level apparently saw it as a reason to dig deeper. What made the situation even more questionable was the timing. Caitlin Clark was just returning from a 5-game injury layoff, and the anticipation around her comeback was massive. Fans from all across the country, and even from overseas, tuned in, with some traveling internationally just to see her play in person. The night was supposed to be a celebration, a triumphant return, a reminder that she still must watch basketball. Instead, the focus shifted to drug testing protocols. Social media exploded almost instantly. Fans filled timelines with jokes, memes, and sharp criticism aimed at the league. Some joked that Clark must have been flagged for being too dominant. Others sarcastically suggested that maybe the decision-makers, not the player, needed to be evaluated. The reactions ranged from funny to furious, but they all landed on the same takeaway. The WNBA appeared completely disconnected from its own moment.
The mainstream media lies about the WNBA like they lie about everything else. And if you don't lie about the dump, if you tell the truth about pretend basketball, the diva of dump divas, Kat Engelbert, refuses to let you cover the league, which is actually a blessing because those who cover the WNBA, they're constantly having to deal with players asking to borrow pesos. All kidding aside, I cannot stand the dump, but credit where credit is due. The ladies put on an absolute show yesterday afternoon on ABC. Not only was the basketball good, which is extremely rare in the WNBA, most of the time the pretend basketball players in this league look like untrained professional wrestlers. But yesterday, the WNBA featured 2 teams who actually know how to play basketball, and they also proved where the focus of the league should be. Forget about Angel Reese. Forget about trying to fabricate this rivalry between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. In order to have a rivalry, you got to have 2 stars, 2 teams on. Obviously, Caitlin Clark is the star of stars. She is on a level all by herself. There's not a player in the league that's capable of reaching a 10th of her drawing power. Therein lies the problem. This is exactly what I'm talking about. The WNBA and their pretend friends in the mainstream media, they have wasted the last 12, 13 months trying to make Angel Reese and the Chicago Bravado into something they are clearly not.
Here's the reality of the situation. Caitlin Clark has done more to elevate the profile of the WNBA than almost anyone in recent years. She's pulled in new audiences, driven television numbers, and reignited nationwide excitement around women's basketball in a way the league hasn't felt in a long time. She isn't just another standout player, she's a cultural force. And yet, instead of backing her, the league appears to be projecting skepticism. That's what makes this so troubling. It sets a dangerous standard. If excelling on the court results in heightened suspicion away from it, what motivation does that give players to truly chase greatness? And what does it tell young athletes watching at home? That being exceptional comes with consequences. That dominance isn't something to applaud, but something to investigate. The WNBA is standing at a critical crossroads right now. Caitlin Clark is doing everything right, playing at an elite level, leading her team, and inspiring fans worldwide. Yet the league's handling of her return has turned celebration into controversy. The real question now is clear. Will the WNBA support its biggest star or let bureaucracy and suspicion overshadow her brilliance? Fans, sponsors, and players are all watching, and the league's next move could define its credibility for years to come.